now, so once you get this, now you want to put it in a right format. This number should be over here, right? And B1 should be, that's this one, and B2 should be this one, and B3 is here, and B4 is here. Okay, so some way, just copy it over in one way or another. Okay, or if you want to kind of do this thing, if you want to use this, you could actually just kind of copy this over. So you could say, choose the numbers, and then copy, and then go over here and then just paste it in a transposed format. As you paste it, you transpose it. So go over here and find the, you see this little button here? So it says, it says a little picture of the row and a column, right, with the arrows in between. So with that, you could transpose between the row and the column. So if I hit that, it gives me now the row instead of the column. So that's a nice thing, a convenient feature. Okay, so either way, you have the kind of coefficients all lined up. Now we could make forecasts. In order to make forecasts, I need to input the relevant values for my independent variables. So for year 5, quarter 1, here I'm going to put quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, so all this. So I just have to just kind of copy this, and then just paste it here. And then just paste it. Because you're going to just still have the same pattern for the quarter variable. So copy one of these and paste it here. So here are my x variable values I want to try. And then here, you just kind of drag this down, 17, 18, 19, 20. And so I'm just going to select 2 so I could just drag it down. It'll give me 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, like this. So here are the numbers to input, in your regression equation. So basically, here's the equation. So you go 6.0875 minus 1.363 times quarter 1 minus 2.034. So I just rounded to the third decimal digit. Then quarter 2, and then minus, because all these coefficients are minus. So minus 0.304 times quarter 3, and then plus the 0.146 times the trend times the time period. So that's how you would express your regression equation. Okay, and then you could plug it in like I did here if you were to do it manually. But I don't want to waste my time, so I'm gonna let Excel do the work. So I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna put the forecast here. Okay, so forecast for 17, 18, 19, 20. So here's one way. Here's a kind of slow way to do it. And then I'll show you the fast way. So I could go with that number, okay, plus the coefficient and times there. And then plus this number, $signs times, and this number plus this number, okay, times that plus, okay, so this number times, okay, so this is a slow way, okay, and then it'll give you the right answer, and so here's number 7.18, right? So that's what you should get. But instead of doing it that way, I would recommend using the sum product. Okay, because the sum product will also do that thing. You multiply, and add them all together. And you don't have to go back and forth selecting the cells. So here's what I would do instead. I just choose the intercept. Okay, that is not going to multiply anything, so I'm just going to choose the intercept and put a $sign there because I want to be able to copy down the formula. Okay, and plus, and then now I want to do this, 1 times this, plus 0 times this, plus 0 times this, plus 17 times this. So I want to multiply each pair and then add them up. So there is a good place for using the sum product function. So with the sum product, then we choose the coefficients, and then put in the dollar signs around the coefficients. Again, in order to copy. Then choose the 1, 0, 0, 17. This was a formula I entered here. Okay, and then you copy it down. So copy it down to here, and there it is. Okay, so there are our 4 forecasts for the year 5. Okay, now here comes the fun part. I would like to overlay, on the chart of the actual data, the forecasts. And I want to see if they are close. I want to see if, how close the forecasts are to the actual data by making another graph over the graph I already have. I'm going to create the graph again, and then, so I'm going to first graph this part, the line chart, which we already did before, but I just deleted it. Okay, here, okay. And I'm going to put this, move it to another sheet. Move the chart, new sheet, okay. Okay, so here's my chart. Okay, now I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go back and do the forecast, for the past periods, for the past quarters, so I could get a nice graph going. So let me move this one over. I'm going to copy this up to into the past. Okay, here. So these are the forecasts, for the past quarters. So here are the forecasts, and here are the actual sales, and we want to be so that we could now compare them side by side. And also, I could make a picture of this. So I'm going to add this picture on top of the chart 2. So what I could do is I could go over here, click on somewhere in the data. Okay, click it so that it chooses all these little points. Then you do the right click, and then select data. Okay, right click and select data. Okay, and then do you want to add? I want to add data, right? So I just go over here, add. Okay, and then here give it a name. Maybe I want to say forecast. My new data will be called forecast, and here I just delete the series values, then go over to the data and select it. So here, this one, right? So the new data, and select the future forecast too. So down to here. So I'm selecting from H11 through H30. Okay, and here I just gave you the name of the forecast. Okay, and then say OK. And then say OK, and there it is. Okay, now, which is which? Let's see. There is a. Now this one has a kind of shortcut here. If I just go here, and if I just click on legend, it tells me which is which here. So here's your chart. So that you could see the blue part. Okay, blue part is the original data. Blue part is the actual data, and the red part is the forecast. So the actual data goes to here, right? No, here. So this is where the actual data ends, and the forecast is kind of extends to year 5. So here is the year forecast. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 points. A couple of comments on this. Okay, let's make sure we understand what do these coefficients mean. When we looked at the data, which quarter was the highest? Which quarter had the highest demand? Yeah, the 4. 4 had the highest demand. Okay, 4 was like the peak quarter. Which one had the lowest demand? Always had the lowest demand. That makes sense, right? That would be like calendar month. It would be April, May, June in the spring. not much interest in the going out and getting new TV sets in the spring. Warmer month, and the Super Bowl is over. TV is not that interesting. In the quarter 4, that's the holiday season, so there's a big demand for the TV sets. Okay. Now let's take a look at the numbers here to see if it makes sense when we look at the numbers. If it's the quarter 4, then you have here 0, 0, 0. So quarter 4, okay, this is going to be 6.069 minus 0, minus 0, minus 0, and then plus 0.146 t. Okay. Now let's see. Let's compare it to quarter 1. If I had quarter 1, then I'll be going 6.069 minus 1.363 times 1, and then the other stuff is 0. 0 plus 0.146 t. Okay. So if you look at what is the difference here between the first quarter and the fourth quarter is this number, negative 1.363. So the coefficient of quarter 1, this is a difference, which is negative. So this is a difference between quarter 1 and quarter 4. Quarter 1 is quarter 4. So the difference between, for the same year, now for the same year, if you look at the forecast, the difference between quarter 1 and quarter 4 is the coefficient of quarter 1, which is negative 1.363. So that means if I had quarter 4, I would have this kind of thing, 6.069 plus 0.146 t. And if I have quarter 1, I would have 6.869, and then the same thing, and then you have this minus 1.363. So quarter 1 will always be lower. So if quarter 1 will be lower, and that makes sense because quarter 1 has a lower demand. So this is the difference, okay, between quarter 4 and quarter 1. So it tells you the seasonal effect of the different quarters. So it's saying that quarter 1 has a lower demand, so the coefficient is negative compared to quarter 4. And what about this one, quarter 2? You have here negative 2.034. Okay, so if you were to compare between quarter 2 and quarter 4, you would say, oh, quarter 2 is even worse than quarter 1 in that it's more negative. You have now negative 2 point something instead of negative 1 point something. Quarter 2 is worse than quarter 1. And of course, still worse than quarter 4. And what about the difference between quarter 1 and quarter 2? So quarter 1 versus quarter 2. So quarter 1 has a coefficient of negative 1.363, and quarter 2 has coefficient of negative 2.034. So which is worse in terms of the demand? 2, right, because 2 is more negative. So that means less, lower demand. And this one, oh, that's not so bad, negative 0.304. So just by looking at the coefficients, I could kind of rank the different seasons. Which seasons have the highest demand, which seasons have the lowest demand, which is in the second and third, and so forth. If I were to order the seasonality, from, let's say, the highest to lowest, the best to worst, first I would have quarter 4. Okay, that's the highest, because coefficients for the other variables are all negative. So they are all worse. 1, 2, 3, they're all worse than quarter 4. And then what's the second best one? 3, right, because it's negative, but it's less negative right, than the others. And so quarter 3, and then what? Quarter 1 and quarter 2. So it's 4, 3, 1, 2. And in the picture, you will see, quarter 4 is the peak. Quarter 3 is a little bit lower. Quarter 1 is a bit lower. Quarter 2 is where the valley, where the lowest point is.